Hey guys, Brett Weiss here, your friendly neighborhood Amico Shill. See, I'm wearing the shirt. That proves I'm an Amico Shill. Not that I'm just excited about the console. I really am looking forward to it hitting stores in October of this year. And there's a new Amico promo ad that I want to talk about. I want to break it down for you guys, tell you what I think. And if you watch the trailer already, check out what I think about it, or after this video, watch it and let me know what you think of the trailer and just, my thoughts on it. Anyway, so Tommy Tallarico, the CEO and president of Intellivision in its current incarnation, super enthused, super hyped about the Amico, and it shows him talking, and he's in front of his Spider-Man collection, part of it including his original Spider-Man pinball machine. Tommy's a big comic book fan as well as video games, and it's a cool backdrop. Looks neat on the camera, really neat looking. He could have had Intellivision in the background, but maybe that would have been sort of redundant. It looks really cool with the Spider-Man stuff. A lot of Intellivision fans obviously love comic book stuff as well. Great geek crossover there. Now, Tommy says that the Amico is going to completely disrupt the video game market, the home console market. Now, that may be a little bit of hyperbole, but only time will tell. Go big or go home. I don't blame Tommy for having such a, huge vision for this thing. He's not going to come out with a console and say, it'll be okay. It'll kind of sit there. It is aiming for a little bit different market than like Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony at the casual gamers, at retro gamers and things like that, parents, young kids that, aren't going to be playing M-rated games. So, but will it completely disrupt the video game market? I'm not going to say yes or no on this because only time will tell. You just don't know till it comes out. The Switch has done a lot better than I thought it would do. Now, obviously, Nintendo is a bigger name than Intellivision, but the Switch just seemed kind of odd system, and like the Amico does to some people. And who knows? Maybe the Amico will take off. If it can be 10 or 20% as big as the Switch, that'll be something. So anyway, will it completely disrupt the video game market? Time will tell. It might be. A lot of people see it just as a niche item that's going to go away quickly, or that will hold on for a couple of years, or maybe it'll be somewhere in between, something that completely disrupts the video game market and a niche market, or a niche item. Maybe it'll be somewhere in between that will hang on for a long time, will last several years, and provide a ton of entertainment for retro gamers such as myself and families. Now, Tommy touts his accomplishments in this video, which is a smart move. He wants to give some background on himself, just that he's worked on more video games than anyone else in industry history and has a Guinness Book of World Record to prove it. He does music for games. He's worked on a lot of big products like Madden and Guitar Hero. My favorite, Maximo for the PlayStation 2. He's done a ton of music for a bunch of different games and consoles for 30 years. So Tommy's been in the industry a very long time, and it makes perfect sense to tout his accomplishments. Perfect. Now, he talks about the original Intellivision and how, he likes to, grew up playing that or whatever. Anyway, that's his background. He loved the Intellivision growing up, even more than the Atari 2600. And he talks about the former president of Intellivision, Keith Robinson, who even before that was a programmer for Intellivision. But later on, I believe in '97, he became the president of Intellivision Productions. Well, he talks about Keith without actually mentioning his name. And I'm sure this was no intended slight by Tommy at all. He maybe just didn't figure it was relevant for the video, or just forgot to do it or something. But whatever reason, he didn't mention Keith Robinson. I thought that would have been nice to mention his name, but not a big deal. And I'm sure, like I said, no slight intended by Tommy. But it's something I would have liked to have seen. Now, Tommy also establishes Intellivision cred in the video, talking about the importance of the console and how back in the very late 70s and the early 80s, it was a household name. A lot of people had the Intellivision, and he claims that it had 20% of the market at one point in the early 80s. And it had all these revolutionary features too, like the first voice synthesis, first online gaming, and that kind of thing. So anyway, there seems to be a lot of commentators about the Amico who are younger that don't realize just how big the Intellivision was in the early 80s. And so he establishes some of that cred, which I think is important. Guys like me that grew up with the Intellivision and remember just how big it was, we're really excited about the Amico and realized that, that was a big IP at one time. And Tommy says that it's going to come back. Tommy claims that the Amico is going to be bigger than the original Intellivision, and I certainly hope that's true, and time will tell. that would be awesome. I mean, Intellivision was a household name. If Amico becomes a household name, that will be phenomenal. Now, once again, Tommy touts the fact that the Amico is going to bring people together. I won't belabor that because we've talked about that a lot here before. And he talked now. Couch co-op was a big deal in the Atari era, the NES era, and even like with the Xbox, with Halo LAN parties and Nintendo 64 with GoldenEye and Mario Kart and all that stuff. Couch co-op. But then the internet got huge, and more people spent multiplayer gaming online, sitting in the dark with your headphones on or whatever. A lot of kids do that to this day. That's multiplayer gaming is typically playing by yourself online, just with other people, and you can talk to them with your headphones and stuff, but it's not the same as being in the same room. And so he talks about that a lot. And also in the video is Carol Aker, VP of Global Marketing for Intellivision. She talks about casual gaming and how so many casual gamers play games by themselves on their phone, and how the Amico will bring casual gamers into the living room, ideally, to play games together. She also talks about parents and just how the Amico could be an important system for parents because they don't have to worry about M-rated content because all Amico games are going to be family friendly. Tommy talks about how casual gamers aren't getting together anymore. That casual gamers don't play games together typically because they're on their cell phone. And the Amico aims to cover expand the casual market to the consoles, to the living rooms, and just make that a bigger market in general. So there's a lot of casual gamers, 3 billion casual gamers that the console market is ignoring, and the Amico hopes to fill that gap. And let's see. Now, you can tell the team that made this video, that Intellivision has marketers. They've consulted with marketers, or they have marketers on. Obviously, they have them on staff, and it's marketing 101. They have a acronym, SAFE, S-A-F-E, which stands for Simple, Affordable Family Entertainment. That is marketing 101. And another thing, they have 5 categories. That people can break down specifically. It's good marketing tips. The category I'm looking forward to is retro reimagined, older games with newer graphics, more levels, and that kind of thing. I've talked about that here before, so I won't belabor that point. But of all the categories, that's the number one I'm looking forward to. They also talk about sports. Now, I'm not a huge fan of watching sports on TV, but I like sports video games, and I like playing real sports. And on the Wii, I love tennis and bowling. So I hope to see some of those kind of games on the Amico, which they've already showed they're going to have some of those kind of games where. And in the video, they show just how elaborate the controller is. Now, some people say, oh, the controller, it just uses cell phone technology that we've had for years. Regardless, it's a very complex looking controller that will be easy to use, they say. When I say complex looking, I just mean that there's a lot of features on it, and that they say it'll be user friendly. I don't know how it'll work compared to a control pad, a D-pad, a joystick, or whatever, but because I haven't held it in my hands or played a game with it yet, a few people have behind the scenes. But I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. And I know there's going to be a lot of games created specifically for those controllers. Those should work well. What I'm really curious about is if platformers, shooters, games that are not necessarily created for that type of controller, how those will work with it. We'll see. Now, they also talk about trusting Intellivision and the value of the system, marketing 101. I mean, Pepsi, GM, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, they talk about trust and family and all that stuff, and that's all over this video. That's just, I went to college for business courses back in the day when I was getting ready to open my comic book stores, and companies not only just talk about the greatness of their products, they talk about more personal things like trust and, family. They hit all those touchstones, and the Amico certainly does that. Tommy talked about Karma Gaming Engine in the Amico, and what that is for example, it's handicapping games on the fly while you're playing. An example he gave was Pong, which if you score 3 times in a row, your paddle gets shorter, so the ball can get by your paddle easier, and your opponent, who's just got scored on 3 times in a row, paddle will grow wider and to their advantage. So that way, gamers of disparate skill, people that are like a little kid and an older person or a hardcore gamer and a millennial or whatever, they can, it'll make the games more even that way. I think that's pretty neat. Hopefully there's an option to turn that off if you just want to play straight up, and I would imagine there will be. There's lots of industries folks behind the scenes at Amico, at Intellivision, which Tommy mentions, people like the former president of Nintendo and some others. He doesn't really go into detail who or the names or anything, but there are a lot of people that have been in the industry a long time, including Tommy himself. Love Tommy's enthusiasm, and which he clearly shows in this video. So if you haven't watched it yet, check it out and let me know what you think. In the comments, what did you think of the Intellivision Amico, the new promo ad? Is it all hype? Is it hyperbole? Do you, are you in? Are you in like me? I'm really excited about it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I think it's going to be a great console with a lot of really cool takes on old games that I used to love, that I grew up playing, and I'm also going to like a lot of the other genres as well, like the casual gaming, and just when you move the controller, whatever, it moves on screen, and the controller has a screen on it. Now, screens on the controller hasn't always been the greatest thing, like with the Wii U, but we'll see how it works with the Amico. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for clicking that like button, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. And once again, tell me in the comments what you think of the new Amico trailer. All right, thanks a lot, guys. We will talk to you later. Peace out.